Hello and welcome everyone to this morning's daily market report brought to you on behalf of CommunityFT for CommunityFT members, in which we shall take a look at some potential movements to occur over the next 24 hours. But before we do that, at this point, let us all embrace a quick risk warning. So let's familiarize ourselves, guys, with the information in front now, engage as much as is possible so that hereafter any decisions you make in your trading are of a fully informed nature. Okay, on the cards for this morning, we're going to take a look at some economies, the value of those economies as is reflected, okay, by the value of their currency, and let's also take a look then at crude oil to help us analyze the daily price of a commodity or the movement in price. Okay, let's do that in order. In front of us, folks, we're looking at the daily chart of US dollar versus Canadian dollar. What's quite obvious over the last I'd say couple of years really, is the weakening of Canadian dollar coupled with the strengthening of the US dollar, okay? And that's down to macroeconomic conditions really for both of those economies. But what's also interesting is, okay, and what's really of interest to us as traders, is how to identify movements in that market, how to identify retracements, how to identify all those trends and swings really, which is where opportunities lie. So what we can use in this case is the 55-day EMA in order to help us have an understanding of where some areas of support and resistance lie in the market. We can also use the stochastic oscillator, and the stochastic oscillator may indeed help us find those secondary trends, okay? So it can help us identify, as it did here, which was a little lagged almost, or a little early actually in this case, can help us identify when a market is showing an overbought or oversold position, okay? Now, Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Poloz is going to speak today, okay? Usually when that happens and any sort of public interaction he has typically brings on intraday volatility or little movement in the market until he speaks. So there may not be movement until he speaks, and after which we could see a lot of movement. So for any of you holding intraday positions, that might be of interest. Okay, now let's take a look at crude oil. And we're looking at now is crude oil overlaid with a 100-day EMA, the commodity channel index, and an average true range, okay? In other words, a volatility indicator. What we notice about crude oil, okay, is that crude oil is a very nice trender. Its price moves typically in nice swings, followed by ranges, followed by some more swings, followed by ranges, followed again by usually swings, okay? And because of that understanding of that market and with sufficient indicators, we can identify those key areas of interest. So what we're looking at right now is the market having recently hit the 100-day EMA, which is a signal to buy. Furthermore, the commodity channel index is supporting that evidence, which is showing a positive overall trajectory to the upside. And last time that happened, as you can see here, there was indeed a breakout to the short side, okay? So it is relatively accurate. Now, it was a bit inaccurate in this particular case here, but when it got back in and started really going down back into the range and moving downward with a little bit of violence, you might almost say, signal was, of course, correct, and that was coinciding with the 100-day EMA. So in other words, those two indicators work well together. And you might say that recently the signal has come for the commodity channel index, which is coupled then with the 100-day EMA. So long positions would be where a lot of guys would be entering now, particularly those using this sort of typical trend analysis indicator. But the problem with that is, okay, it's fine, it works, but the problem is it doesn't show us how to add to winning positions because number one, the signal is lagged, and number two, it's not sophisticated enough. So what we need is something that's sophisticated but at the same time simple. What we're looking at now, guys, is our own particular indicator overlaid on the crude oil chart, and we see that the initial blue touch, or the initial touch of the blue line, signaled a first sell entry here, the recent trend, and the second signal, okay, has shown us a way to add to winning positions, which is a way to get the overall win to loss ratio up, and furthermore then make more profits as time goes on. So we hope that's been of help, everyone. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch. We welcome all inquiries. Have a great day, and as we say here, keep learning.